I've been making brioche rib, and at this point I am going to syncopate when I come to this marker. And syncopating just means that instead of, well, I'm using this light color and I'm on the side where I'm purling, brioche purling. When I come to the marker, I'm going to start brioche knitting that stitch. And when I use the dark yarn, when I've been knitting, brioche knitting, when I come to the marker, I am going to brioche purl when it's time to do that stitch. Let's see what that means in real life. So I start there with my purl, because I'm on a purl row for this. Slip, yarn over, brioche purl. Slip, yarn over, brioche purl. Slip, yarn over, brioche purl. And the only time I really have to think hard is when I come to the marker. So there's slip. And if I do that yarn over, what I really want is to have this stitch and a little wrap over it, the yarn over. So I'm going to just move the marker, and now I'm holding the yarn over. So there's the little wrap. And here, instead of brioche purl, I'm going to brioche knit. And so now when I do my slip one yarn over, the yarn needs to be in front before I slip. And here we go. So that's a slip one yarn over. And if you want, in your head, you can say yarn over or yarn forward slip, and then brioche knit. Yarn forward, slip, brioche knit. You can say whatever mantra you want as long as you get the result you want. And what I'm getting is the slipped stitch with the yarn over. And in between, I am taking care of business. And then the very last stitch, because I am now knitting, is going to be a knit stitch. I'm just peeking down in there to make sure I really did knit. Yes, I did. Okay, now what happens when we use the dark color yarn? So here's my slipped stitch. And then my yarn goes to the back because I am brioche knitting on this half. Yarn forward, slip, brioche knit. This is technically a slip one yarn over, but I bring the yarn forward, then I slip. Then I brioche knit, yarn forward so I can slip. And knitting from this position gives me that yarn over, brioche knit. Here I am at the marker, so I need to think for just a second. This stitch is complete, so I'm going to move the marker. And now I'm going to bring the yarn forward. This is a slipped stitch, and then I'm going to yarn over, and here's my brioche purl. See, it's above the knit column, but I am changing to syncopate here. Slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl. Again, your mantra is whatever you want to say as long as you get that slip one yarn over. And at the end of my row, I'm putting the yarn in back so I can slip the last stitch. I know I've been purling and I'm putting the yarn in the wrong place, and I discussed this in another video, but that is so that my purls on the back get both arms like all of its neighbors, because if I didn't do that, it would look like this and it would feel kind of incomplete. All right, here we are on the back side. So let's do that little syncopation move again. This is the light color. So on this side, I was brioche knitting before, but now in this section I'm brioche purling. So I'm going to purl that first stitch, slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over, brioche purl, slip, yarn over. Here I am at the marker. So that's a brioche purl. I'm going to move the marker. And this is going to be a slip one yarn over. Okay, my yarn's in front, which means I'm allowed to slip, because the yarn always needs to be in front when you slip a stitch. So those slip. And now if I knit with the yarn in this position, this stitch is getting its yarn over, and the next one is a brioche knit. Okay, does that make sense? I just need to pay attention to the stitches on either side of the marker to make sure they get the treatment they're supposed to have. Okay, yarn forward, slip, which makes a slip-one yarn over, brioche knit, here's a slip-one yarn over or a yarn over slip, brioche knit, slip-one yarn over, brioche knit. Let's catch up. So see, this half's not syncopated, this half is. We're going to catch up with the dark yarn, get a little more yarn. I'm slipping with the yarn in front because that's where it is, and then moving it to the back so I can brioche knit because this is the syncopated half of this piece. Yarn forward, slip, brioche knit. Feels wrong because you can't see very much of this up here yet, but it'll make sense in just a minute. Slip, brioche knit. That doesn't feel right. I missed something. Let's go back. Okay. Slip, brioche knit. There we go. Yarn over, slip, brioche knit, yarn forward, slip. Here I am at the marker. So this is the slip stitch. It is going to end up with a yarn over. And now I need to go to brioche purl this next stitch. So I'm going to bring the yarn all the way to the front. So the stitch on this side has its yarn over, and this one is going to be brioche purled. Brioche purl, slip, one yarn over, brioche purl, slip one yarn over, brioche purl, need a little more yarn, slip yarn over, brioche purl. My yarn goes to the back. Now I'm ready to turn. I'm just going to go ahead and work this next row so that you can start to see what the syncopation looks like on the other side of the marker. Coming up to the marker, brioche purl, slip, and I don't want to do the yarn over all the way to the front here because if I did, it's in the wrong place for my next one, which is going to be a brioche knit. So I could, just put it back when I see that that's what's happening, or smarter yet, when I slip that stitch, I think about what's needed, and then I'm going to move this over, and here we go. So there's your slipped stitch, and there's its yarn over, and now here's a brioche knit. Slip one yarn over, or yarn over slip, as we say, brioche knit, slip one yarn over, brioche knit, slip one yarn over, brioche knit, slip one yarn over. It's a plain knit on the end. You can see that my knit stitches are above this purl column, and I'm getting a nice purl column above my knits. I think that'll show better after I go through one more half row here. So slipping, moving the yarn to the back so I can brioche knit, brioche knit, yarn over slip, brioche knit, yarn over slip, which is a slip one yarn over. I'm using the two terms interchangeably. Brioche knit, slip one yarn over, brioche knit. Going to move this marker because this stitch is finished. Now I need the yarn in front so I can slip that next stitch, and here I'm brioche purling with the dark yarn. So yarn over, brioche purl, need a little more yarn, slip one yarn yarn over, brioche purl, slip 1 yarn over, brioche purl, slip 1 yarn over, brioche purl, moving the yarn to the back so that I get both arms on this stitch here. So there we are. We are syncopating on this half of the marker, and this half just maintains the brioche rib we were making. Hope this helps.